Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Okay, you guys, so I did not play y'all know my intro that I normally play because this is a very serious live. It is a DV awareness live. It is October DV awareness month. And, I just wanted to keep it on a serious tip. That's why I didn't play my intro. And y'all know one thing about me, Pac is always late. But when I have guests on, I'm always on time, baby. Okay? Very professional. Got to keep it professional. But let me do my shout outs because I see we do have one of our survivors in the building. She actually signed on at the same time as me. I know she can hear me also because I'm also waiting on the other ladies to come in as well. So I'm gonna do my shout outs and then I'll bring you guys up. Okay. Let's see who we have in the building. Make sure you guys please, please, please share this live, y'all. We need to get this out. This is DV awareness. Is no drama. Most people do like the drama filled lives or the lives about the saga. But if you are a victim or a survivor, I feel like this is very, very crucial. This type of awareness is needed. So it's not always about the drama. Sometimes the positivity is needed as well. So hopefully we can get the same amount of people in here as we can when it's involving the saga, which we felt the reason why we advocated in the saga was because of the false storyline. So it's just important, y'all. It's important. Shout out to the people that were in here early also. Hey, Latae, we got Rebecca Belton, we got Nubian Queen, Kate Brown, we got Shanta, Miss Glenda Bryce, Snooky, we got Miss Lovely, Miss Ramona, Miss Sheeta to you, my girl Nika, we got Carol Highsmith, we got Tokyo Blues. Thank you so much for reminding me to turn my ads on. Hey, Miss Yolanda Flugence, we got LaShawn Arnold, Miss Angela Benjamin, Miss Tracy Johnson, we got Andrea, we got Kay Monet, Stephanie Landry, my bro Terry in the building. We got Miss Brenda Knighton, we got Me Us, my Louisiana sister. We got Angela Sapphire Virgo, Honey Williams, Shiata. We got Miss Cynthia Craig, Miss Josephine. Miss Rebecca, Miss slow down, Pop. Y'all be talking so doggone fast, child. Miss Rebecca Belton. I might have said your name already. Thank you. Yes, Miss Angela. Y'all make sure y'all put purple hearts is the color for DV month. It is purple. Shout out to y'all. If we have any survivors in the building, shout out to y'all. I'm constantly praying for, continuous healing because it is a process. Healing is a journey. It's not an overnight thing. Sometimes it takes years to actually heal from a situation. So, hey, Miss Michelle Hodges. Hey, Rakita. Who else we got? Cancer 66. Okay. And I just posted it on my Facebook also so I can kind of spread it out a little bit as well. Because like I said, y'all, I feel like people don't really um, take this as serious as or tune into things like this more so like they do the drama. And it's very unfortunate. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Okay. Um, one of my guest panelists says she gonna be in a few. I also have another one says she running late. So because I did this live early, y'all, I wanted to get it out the way because it is Sunday. So I say let me do it early, and then because I know it's the weekend. So I said let me do it early live so it ain't dragged on all day. Tokyo say much love, peace and blessings to you all. Thank you, Tokyo. Hey, sweetly favor. Hey, Robin Lights. Hey, Tanasha. I hope I said that right. Let's see. Let me go down. Black Widow. We got CS in the building. Thank you, Snooky, for the super stick. I appreciate your support, my girl. Let's see. Hold up. Okay. All right. I don't want to bring the first guest on yet, y'all. I'ma still give them a little time to come in. Because I don't want to start where she's telling her story without the panelists, at least one of the panelists in here first. So we're gonna just wait. Miss Sharon, if you can hear me, just hang tight, okay? If you don't mind, just hang tight. Hey, Miss Vicky Queen. Thank you, Miss Glenda, for the super stick. I appreciate your support, my girl. Yep, but I know if you are an actual I don't want to say victim, I prefer to say survivor, put a one in the chat. If you've been through a DV situation, put a one in the chat so I can see how many of you guys in here have been through, any type of because I know some people. I had a few ladies that messaged me and they kind of downplayed their situation, which I don't agree with that. I feel like if you've been through it, you've been through it, no matter the severity. Not some people are more fortunate to where it's not so much physical, it's more so mental and emotional, but it still counts, regardless. Still counts. Okay, we got, let's see, let me go up. Miss Ramona says, I'm a DV survivor. I've never spoken on it, but I thank God I'm still here. Shout out to you, Miss Ramona. And hopefully one day, y'all, because a lot of you guys did message me also, and y'all told me y'all had a story to tell but y'all wasn't ready, which I understand, because like I say, healing does take a long time. It's different for every person. So hopefully one day you guys build up the courage and you're fully healed enough to share your story, because it actually helps a lot of women. It can help a lot of women. Let's see, hold on, y'all. Okay. Okay, another one of my ladies says she's gonna be up in 10 minutes. All right, let's see. We got Miss Vicky Queen. You're a survivor. Miss Angela Benjamin is a survivor. TLC Jules and Inspiration is a survivor. Black Widow. Virgo, not Virgo, Sapphire Virgo. I was thinking about Virgo Goddess. Hey, Miss Deborah, Cancer 66 is a survivor. We got CS, a survivor. Hey, JB. Hey, Empress Vibes. Miss Veronica is a survivor. K Monet. Andrea, Miss Brenda Knighton. Okay, it's a lot of y'all. That's why y'all so I don't want to say personally invested, but I see the investment now because it's real near and dear. I get it. I get it. Hey, Miss Arlene. Miss Arlene is a survivor. Hey, Miss Madeline. Hey, I'm chosen. Who else we got? JB in the building. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming in, my mod. We got Latessa in the building. Talia. Miss Madeline says, praying for all the DV queens on the panel and chat. Thank you, Miss Madeline. Alexa say my boyfriend and baby father are DV. Oh wow. Listen. Okay, so I don't know if you was in my live yesterday, Alexis, but I was talking about doing a panel for the men as well. So if you know if one of them wants to speak and tell their story, let me know. Inbox me and let me know, because I say this a lot, that I feel like they downplay DV when it comes to men. It's not as serious opposed to women, and women are very much capable of unaliving just as well as men are. So, I feel like it should have the same level of severity, in my opinion. And people just don't take it as serious. We see it all too often on social media, y'all, and it's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. So I definitely want to put that panel together as well. So hopefully we can get that possibly before the month is out. Miss Madeline say I'm a survivor. Hey, Miss Charlene. Hey, Michelle Daggs, my Louisiana sister. A Stokes. We got Raquel in the building. Brandy Gibson. LaShawn. She said, glad to see y'all as a survivor. Exactly. Because it's a difference between a victim and a survivor, y'all. Keep that in mind. Latay said, I wish you had one for the men. I'm trying to put it together, Latay, but we got to have some men that are willing to speak up. And keep in mind also, you guys, that just as much as the world downplays DV survivors as men downplay themselves also. A lot of times the men are too embarrassed to speak on it because they think that it makes them look weak, and I don't agree with that. I feel like if once one person, just like the Bible says, long as you can reach one person, that's all that matters. So I feel like if at least one man speaks out, it'll possibly have the domino effect in a good way, where more and more men will want to speak out and tell their story. So hopefully we can put that together, y'all. Hey, Tony Lightner. Hey, Kimberly Payne. We got Admire Me, Miss Simone Whitaker. Miss Veronica say, this is why I moved from Detroit to Atlanta. Okay. Alexa say, no, because it was against me. Laugh out loud. But I do have a young man that real is going through it right now. Okay, keep me posted, Lexi. Keep me posted and let me know. Hey, Shell Lou, she says, I'm a survivor. JB say, one day I'll tell my story. Okay, and listen, y'all, if some of you guys, y'all not ready to speak publicly, we can do something on members only also. So y'all let me know if y'all want to do like a little, something similar to this, but through a members only live. We can do that where it's not as big of an audience. Because I know, it's a lot of y'all that do have a story to tell, but just not, completely ready to say it publicly. Hey, Kimberly W. Hey, Bless Beyond Measures. Miss Vicky Queen say DV is a long healing journey. Being a survivor, God knows it made me stronger. Yes, ma'am. It sure is, y'all. And if you're not fully healed, it can really affect your future relationships, especially if you don't get the proper care that's needed mentally. You can carry over that baggage and that trauma into your next relationships, and you'll never have a successful relationship until you do the work. You have to do the work, and you have to be willing and able to be single. You cannot do the work in a relationship. You have to be, because there's a lot of people that are codependent on, their male partners or female partners or whatever the situation is. And, if you're not able to be single and be alone and depend solely on yourself, then it makes it even harder to even get the help that you need to move forward. Tupac, read my comment. Okay, let me go back up because I might have skipped over it on accident. Let's see. You said, yes, I had one. Yes, I'm one. I had a GUN put in my mouth. Oh, wow. Wow, that is crazy. Y'all got some stories to tell. Hopefully y'all, y'all can uh be fully healed enough to tell y'all story eventually. Hey, Miss Phelps. Hey, Christina Mills. Miss Madison said, Lupac, you are absolutely correct. There is a difference between a victim and a survivor. I'm a victim. I am a victim and a survivor. The triggers are both topics. The triggers for both topics are real. That's true. That is definitely true. So you know what, y'all? Because I don't want too much time to pass and I don't want to have Miss Sharon just waiting. What I'll do is, because I did, one of my panelists did message me. She said she's like she running 10 minutes late, and the other one, she's actually coming off of a trip, so she don't want to join in and it's a lot of noise, but she will come up. So I'll let the first survivor speak and they could just join in. I'll just add them to the panel as they come in, y'all. But we're gonna have two ladies that's gonna speak. Initially, I was going to do three, but I don't know how long their stories are. So I dropped it down to two people. And if we need, we can always do a part two. So we'll see, y'all. We'll play it by ear. Hey, Miss Rosalind. Hey, Miss Trina B. Holmes. Miss Rosalind said, I was a DV survivor from a military man, and it took me 5 years to move on with counseling after I got a divorce. Oh, wow. And you know what's crazy? When you in relationships where that man has some type of power or status, it makes it even harder to get out of that situation, y'all, because when they got a lot of pull, people of authority tend to ignore those signs or ignore your calls for help. Like they're able to get away with more just because of their status, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because I remember speaking to a lady one time who was married to a police officer and he was abusive to her. She had to literally leave and move to another state to get away from him. It was crazy, y'all. It's real crazy. Hey, Hillwood Tree. Hey, Miss Charlene Hilbert. Let's see. Let me go up. Miss Trina in the building. Miss Arlene. She said, I've been single, said I'll be single. I know for 30 years, no relationships, but I met a nice guy, I believe 5 years ago, and I never went anywhere with him. I stayed close in. Oh, wow. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to bring the first lady up. Hey, Raw True. She said, I'm here, boo. Sorry, I'm late. I'm at the grocery store. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring the first survivor up, y'all. Hold on. Hey, Miss Sharon. Thank you. First, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And, I'm so happy that you are, I ain't going to say healed enough because I know that sometimes healing takes a long time, but courageous enough to be able to share your story with my audience, to bring awareness because it is DV month. The only thing that I ask is, I pretty much message you it's certain words that YouTube does not allow. So please, if you don't mind, keep those words in mind, try to spell it out or whatever, or, alternate the word if possible. But you can kind of give my audience, your name and then get into your story.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is, well, you will find me on Facebook as Sharon Anderson. And just bear with me because it's been like 10 years, but it's still hard to talk about. I just started talking about it last year, start spreading awareness. But my,
That's
sto-
fine. Take your time.
my story started when I met my husband. Was a lot of red flags when I met him, but I still gave him a chance because I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. When I met my husband, he was incarcerated and had like 3 months left. And he did get out, and within 3 months, we got married. First 2 years was like a fairy tale. And the last 4 years is when the abuse started. He got on drugs, and every day the beating started, the abuse started, and kept getting worse and worse and worse. He would keep a job. I pretty much carried us the whole 6 years, working 2 and 3 jobs. And he kind of isolated me from my children, my family, my mother, everybody. I didn't have control over my cell phone. He answered every call and made the decision who I talked to. And it got to the point that I did try to leave a couple times to get away. And I kept going back, back, and back. And people always say, why don't you just leave? Sometimes it's really hard to leave when you in a situation like that. And I kept giving him chances. He kept promising he'll get better, better, and the beating started getting worse. Bones started getting broken. Hospital stays for days. And each time I didn't press charges, and he kind of walked away free from everything that he was doing. And then he started not even letting me leave the house. I was pretty much stuck in one room, only allowed to go out to work and back home. Children couldn't come see me, my sister, anybody. And every time I tried to leave, I would call my sister and she would come and get me. And within a week or two, I'd be right back. It finally got to the point where my brother and sister said, if I go back, they would not help me again. And that scrawl was 3:30 in the morning. I called my sister. She had to be to work at 7. She drove an hour and 15 minutes to get me. And within 2 days, I was back. So she kind of turned, my family turned their back because I kept burning bridges with them when they kept trying to get me out. And
So
the
he
Lord, go
So
ahead.
he pretty much isolated you from your family and everybody else. That's pretty much the norm for bruisers. They isolate you from everybody that you love because they want you to depend solely on them. They want you to go to them for everything. They don't want you to be able to lean on anybody else outside of them. So that's definitely a characteristic of an abuser. And some even with the family member situation, sometimes even though we might question it, sometimes them isolating or cutting us off is definitely needed because it'll give you um a little push more so to leave that person. But it's only when you are actually ready. Because even with the isolation or them cutting you off, you see how you just said they was gonna cut you off and then 2 days later you went back. That's because you wasn't ready. you know. But sometimes that is definitely needed because that's them basically challenging the love and saying, if you love me, then you're gonna, and I love you enough to get you out of this situation. Let's see if you love me enough to remove yourself. Basically, that's what they was telling you. Even though they might say they're cutting you off, but they never really do. They never really do, y'all. That's just something that family does in those type of situations. Go ahead, Miss Sharon.
Yeah, and I'm kind of thankful that they did kind of cut me off at that time because it gave me the strength and motivation to actually do what I had to do. And it was just so much, like every day. Some days I was scared to breathe sometime because I was like scared I was going to get here or something was going to happen. I tried to do everything perfect and nothing worked. It was constantly every day, every day, every day. And finally, the day that I decided to leave, I left with 14 stitches in my feet, two broken ribs, black eye, and I left like I was going to work. And I packed one duffel bag and I left to go from South Carolina to North Carolina. Was going to go to my brother's, but that goes back to saying when you burn bridges with people and when you really want to get out of something, really make your mind up, because they didn't take me serious. th- their doors wasn't open to me at the moment that I finally made it the decision to walk away. So for 2 weeks with $25 to my name, I slept in my car in a grocery store parking lot for 2 weeks, debating if I was going to go back or if I was going to go another direction. So I had a friend that was in a whole nother state that I never left out of South Carolina. And they said, I can help you better here than where you are. So I left the car, got on a bus, and that's how I ended up in Buffalo, New York. And I've been here over 12 years now. So I had to leave that town. And he even put out a missing report on me to the police that I was missing. They
Oh
was
wow.
they was looking for me. The only person knew where I was my children. I didn't tell any of the other family members because I was scared he was gonna find me. So I
Hmm.
only told my children where I was so they wouldn't be worried. And for like 6 months, it was 6 months before I told the other family members. And when the police here did locate me, I explained the situation to them and they understood. So it didn't go no further than that. But I was constantly looking on my shoulders every day, wondering if he was gonna find me, if he was gonna look for me. And it was an everyday struggle and battle with that. I wouldn't go home to visit my children. I wouldn't go anywhere because I was scared that he was going to find out that I was in town. And I did this for like 5 years before I actually started going back home to visit family members because I was so scared that he was going to locate me.
And you know what's crazy, y'all? A lot of times in these type of situations, family members are the first ones to tell the abuser where the victim is. It's not always intentionally telling them, but sometimes the family doesn't know what's going on because a lot of times the victims are isolate themselves to where they won't tell. It starts with the abuser isolating the victim from family and friends, and then it goes to the victim isolating family and friends from the abuser. If that makes sense, y'all. Basically saying that the victim won't tell family and friends what's going on out of embarrassment, out of fear, and those things. And it's also a cycle of protecting your abuser, not knowing how your family and friends will respond in that moment of you telling them and being open. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot So I often see people questioning, well, why didn't you leave, and why did you stay, and all these different things. But if you will never understand until you're in it. Okay, you will never fully understand the mindset of being a victim unless you're in that type of situation. Cause you gotta have listen. If you ain't spiritually in tune, if you ain't got God in your life, if you in that type of situation, you will be drowning and you will be stuck. It takes a lot of prayer. Sometimes, like Miss Sharon said, she had to literally move to another state. Sometimes it takes putting that much distance because it's a mental hold. It's a mental hold. And you always, especially women have a habit of giving multiple chances and believing that a change will come. But when an abuser shows you who they are, you got to believe them the first time. You have to believe them the first time because it won't get better. It's going to get worse. Trust the plus. It will always get worse. Go ahead, Miss Sharon.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to the red flags. It was so many there for me, and I overlooked them because of that love. When you think you love somebody, you kind of overlook things, and there was just so much there. And police were called out several times to take him, and I didn't press charges. I even took charges for him knowing that I could have went to jail so that he wouldn't go. I took charges. Just fortunately, I was able to get those charges expunged so it wouldn't be on my record. It was just so much. It was 6 years of just it would. I ain't gonna say six because the first two was perfect. The last four, it was just terrible, terrible. And I don't wish that on anybody, any woman to go through or experience what I went through. And it broken me down so much that even once I got the safety here in Buffalo, I had to go through serious sessions of counseling. I still go through counseling right to the day because sometimes I still need it, and it have affected a lot of my relationships. And I had a good relationship with somebody that was perfect, but because I was still so damaged from that abusive relationship to I kind of pushed that person away. So I had to just back up from relationships and just start to try to self love on myself. I have to love myself first before I can properly love somebody else. So that's why I took a step back and I've been practicing a lot of self love on myself and just focus on me and my spiritual journey. And it's just hard because if you ever experienced and went through it, it damaged you a lot and you don't realize it until you get back out and you start trying to date and you realize how damaged you are. And it's not good to the person that you're trying to get in a relationship with if you going in so broken. So I had to just take a step back from that and just try to refocus all over again because some days you still relive it all over, no matter how long you been out of it. When you went through something so abusive and so devastating, like what I went through, where I almost lost my life, you just it's hard to get over it sometimes. And I just finally started talking about it last year, where I started actually on my platform, just start actually talking about it, where I felt comfortable talking about it and try to spread awareness. And it's just something that you deal with for the rest of your life. And you got to go through counseling in order to get yourself to a place where you feel comfortable at. And that's what I had to do.
And
And through
that's true. I agree, Miss Sharon. And just like like I said early on in the live, a lot of you ladies, y'all did reach out to me stating that y'all weren't fully healed enough to speak on your story. But just keep in mind also that sometimes it's actually helpful. Just like speaking with a therapist, even though it's a big difference, speaking with a therapist and speaking publicly, but take baby steps because actually being able to speak it is it's not just reliving it, but it's also a part of your healing as well. And then even being able to speak it and help other women. That's what makes it all the better because you're survivors. You know what I'm saying? And if you made it out, that's something to really celebrate. It's really something to celebrate, y'all, because not everybody has that opportunity to get out of their situation. But just take your time with it. Like I say, definitely go through counseling, therapy, whatever is needed, or family members. Not everybody is comfortable with talking to a therapist. I don't know why they normalize therapy as a means of, oh, a lot of black people use say therapy, or assuming that you have mental issues. That's not just what therapy is about. So, go ahead, Miss Sharon. I got another lady coming up. Let me help her get in if you don't mind.
Okay.
You have anything else that you want to add to your story, or any isolated events that you would like to talk about?
No, that's pretty much it. That just that never feel like it's your fault, because a lot of time they would definitely make it feel like it's your fault and that you deserve it. Never feel ashamed to tell anybody. And it was like the whole town knew my situation, but because I didn't do anything about it, they kind of like turned the other cheeks. And it was, when you're going through something like that, you have to be able, you got to be strong for one thing, and you got to reach out to somebody because you can't do it by yourself. And a lot of times I thought I could do it by myself and that I could handle it, but you got to reach out and never feel like that it's your fault, that you deserve it, because nobody deserve to go through abuse, a man or woman. Nobody deserve to be hit on or done anything. So never feel like it's your fault. And it just, you got to get yourself out if you're going through it. And until a person is ready to get out, there's nothing you can say or do, because there were so many times that I had different family members offer me to live at their house, offered to help me with anything I needed, and I refused it. And once I refused it, they was like, I'm not going to help you. And that's what it was, until I was ready to know that enough was enough and decided it was enough. I had to get up enough strength and courage to do it myself. And that was running to a whole different state so that I can rebrand and rebuild myself over. And since I've got out of that marriage, I went back to school. I have 3 degrees. I have done a lot, did like a whole changing my life around. And until I was able to talk about it, the scar was still there. But once I was able to go through counseling and I was able to actually have somebody to talk to get it all out, it was a big relief off of me. And it didn't really bother me as much as it did before, until I was able to really just actually talk about it. That's why I'm able now to tell my story. But you can't hold it in. You gotta get it out. You gotta tell somebody. And and I'm a person of forgiveness. I've have spoke with the person, and I have forgave the person, because in order for me to heal, I have to forgive. But that doesn't mean I ever have to forget. But I do forgive the person, and I wish them the best in life, and hope that no other woman has to experience that from the hands of him. And just, continue to send up prayers, because it's still difficult sometimes, and it still affect me sometimes. But like I said, that's where you have to take a step back and practice that self-love on yourself and heal properly before you jump out into something else. And that's pretty much my story.
Okay, Miss Sharon, I have a question for you from Latae in the chat. She said, "Were you able to divorce him without any trouble?"
Um, Well, it was a few things I ran into because he contested a couple times, but he finally let go, and it was pretty much smooth sailing after that.
Okay, well that's good. And do you
Well, he
know?
actually remarried 3 months after our divorce. So
Oh wow. And that's what I was about to ask you if you knew of his status, because I do know that a lot of victims slash survivors will literally kind of track their abuser's current state just to is another form of healing, making sure it's like making sure they not bothering you in a sense, keeping them long as they doing other things and they ain't messing with you or trying to see what you got going on. So that was my next question to you. But thank you so much for telling your story and giving words of wisdom and to basically allowing the ladies in the chat, um just basically letting them know that you too can speak on your situation and just giving them words of encouragement. I really appreciate it. And I'm constantly praying for your healing, progressive healing and moving forward. But I really, you can stay up here also, unless you have something to do, but you can definitely stay up if you would like. If you want to listen in, you can stay on the panel unless you have something that you need to do.
I stay on, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell my story. Thank you. And if any of you ladies would like to reach out to me or have any question, my inbox is open, and I will try to answer it best as I can.
Yes, ma'am. And you said your Facebook page is it under the name that you have right here?
It's on the Sharon Anderson.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay,
You're
y'all. So
welcome.
we have my girl, of course, Jenny Gang is in the building. She goes under Jenny Gang Speak. So I'm gonna let you just basically give them an intro and then I'll bring someone else up to tell their story. Just you could tell everybody where to follow you and stuff like that.
Hey y'all, I'm Jenny Gang. I want to first salute Pac and her panel and then also salute the chat. Pac, thank you for letting me come up. I am Big Jenny Gang on most platforms, but on YouTube, I'm Jenny Gang Speaks. So I'm happy to join this conversation with you ladies. Can you hear me?
It's kind of low for me, but it might be. Can y'all hear her in the chat? Let me know if y'all can hear Jenny good in the chat because sometimes it's low for me, but that's because I have my headphones on. But they probably can hear you good.
Okay.
So
See, I just turned my headphones off. Does that sound better to you?
okay, and it is louder. It is louder
Okay.
now. I see some of the people know you, so some of them know who you are.
Hey
Y'all know who
gang.
Jenny is? I
Hey
don't know if
y'all.
y'all remember, but she actually did a skit with Latruth. What it
Yes.
was last year?
Yes, we done a couple this year, but we're slacking right now because we're always in different areas. But we're going to jump back on it though.
Okay, okay. Yep. So make sure y'all go follow her. Rasu
Yes,
say
y'all.
Jenny Gang sounds low, but she's somewhat okay. Okay. So they say it's a little low, but they can still hear you.
Okay.
It might be because you outside too, because you don't you can't really block out the noise when you're outside. But
And
you ain't
my friend is talking in the room. We're out of town. The
that's
hotel
okay.
has music, so I was like, where can I go to get a little peace and quiet? But I
That's
guess it's
okay
good
because
later.
you ain't really gotta say nothing anyways. We just gonna let the ladies speak. But
Okay.
if anybody, because I'm waiting on another lady that wants to share her story, she's coming from church, y'all. So if I have anybody in the chat that would like to come up and share their story, you can let me know and I'll drop the link in the chat. If anybody, because I've seen a few people saying that they're willing to tell their story. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the link and anybody want to come up, I'll add y'all to the panel. Let's see, hold on. Like I say, my other lady is coming from church. She's trying to hurry up and get to her house, y'all.
And if y'all can hear me, Pop, I want to comment on Miss Sharon's story.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Congratulations for freeing yourself from that, Sharon. I know it took a lot of time, but I'm gonna comment on one thing. A lot of times it's hard to, like she said, help people when they're going through that situation because your family and friends don't know if you're finally done or not. So
The other night, my daughter's friend guy was out and about and seeing this guy kind of like looking to the point where him and his girlfriend were arguing, but it looked like the dude was going to get physical. So my daughter's guy friend or whatever called himself gonna jump in and take up for the girl, and guess what? He ends up getting into it with the guy. The guy pulls a weapon, and they're in college. So the next day, everybody on campus heard about, you know, my daughter's friend stepping in. He ended up getting in so much trouble for trying to help the girl because, her boyfriend, who was the bruiser, pulled out a weapon. And then just to find out the girl didn't do anything but end up hiding the guy in her room all night so he couldn't get in trouble.
Oh wow.
So that's one part of it. But I just want to touch on that. I heard Miss Sharon say her family and friends were, always apprehensive about helping because you never know, when the person is finished because it's a mental hold that they have on you.
Yep.
But I'm happy to know that she's done with that. Thank God he married to somebody else.
Yes, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we never want to pray against another person being in that situation, but of course we're gonna pray that we not in it. Okay,
Right.
listen, we don't
Mhm.
want no parts. Hopefully, she's not going through it with him also.
Right.
Because sometimes I gotta say this, y'all. Sometimes they can grow away from it once they get older, but it's very rare. It's very rare. Do you? I never even asked you. Do you have any? Have you? Are you a survivor? Have you been through it or no?
No, Pop. I'm one of the hard headed ones that had to learn the hard way when I was younger.
Hmm.
Don't put your hands on nobody, cause some may,
Yep.
retaliate against you. But that was the young Jenny. I Fortunately for me, I don't have any DV stories.
Yeah, that's a
Fortunately.
blessing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
But
blessing.
I see it. I know that it's out there. And as a matter of fact, y'all, this is probably crazy, but I love What's Love Got to Do with It. I watch that story all the time, but like that's the first DV situation that I felt like coming up that I really seen that this is real. Like
Hmm.
somebody will literally use you as their,
Yep. That's a
especially when they
blessing.
have
It's a
control.
blessing to not have to experience that. So if
Yeah.
you went through life and you at that age where you haven't gone through it, listen, give
Mm-hmm.
God all the praise and the thanks because baby, the statistics are really high. If it ain't 2 out of 3 women that actually go through DV, or it might be 3 out of 3, which is crazy, but
That's so
it,
high.
it's true, y'all. Anybody else want to come up and tell their story while we wait? Y'all don't be scared. Y'all don't have to cam up, even if it's a little brief summary. Because I did see, I don't know if y'all still in the chat, but I did see a few women that, said they weren't scared to speak up or tell their story or whatever. Because like I said, that the other lady that's supposed to come up, she's on her way from church. So she's running a little late, but she's gonna be here, y'all. Let's see. Let me see if she messaged me back. Yeah, she said she on her way. So, okay, shout out to my girl. Thank you, Tamika, for coming up. I appreciate you. You have an avatar picture that you would like to add, or you want to leave the tea?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can? Wow. Okay, because I'm way in Wyoming. I'm in my semi truck.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, so okay,
I'm
I
scared
think
to
you were
say
one of the ones
something.
who did say that you experienced it and you do have a story. Only thing I ask is, like try to use keywords for real certain words like KILL, maybe say unalive or the R word, great, because YouTube will literally demonetize my life. They don't play about them words. So, just try to use keywords or if you have to spell it out.
Okay,
But
because I
thank you
got you
so
on my
much for coming
Bluetooth.
up.
I'm a little nervous. I've been to church this morning online. I didn't come on on my picture with the camera because I got my bonnet on. I got my head wrapped.
That's fine. No, I was saying if you had you see how we have our pictures up here? You can add a picture, but you would have to do that before to change your avatar. So you can leave it as is. That's fine. But thank you
Okay,
for being
okay.
courageous enough to come up and, give a little summary of your story. Don't be nervous.
I know, right? I could write. So I had two kids by the time I was 18. One went to the military, one went to college. I had an ex-boyfriend help me raise the kids. And he didn't ever want to be married. I was getting older and I wanted to be married. So I met a truck driver.
Mhm.
I met him when I was 39 years old. And I went on the road with him and I could just tell it started with the gaslighting, and I was like, okay, maybe people always tell me I'm sensitive, right? So it
Mhm.
sort of started like with the like little gaslighting, while like I called you, you didn't answer the phone, little stuff like that. And then I went on the road with him this summer of 2012. I didn't know this person well enough to go on the road with him, but it was like one kid went to college, my son went to the military. I was by myself. He was like, well, you don't got to renew your lease. I'm gonna come from a small town in Memphis, And he was like, come go on the road with me. And I was kind of excited because he sounded like a man with a plan. I was, it was just something different. Girl, you don't be me. Girl, that be a representative. They don't be them. You heard me. Them don't be the real peoples when you meet them kind of people. That be somebody else. Long story short, I went on the road with this person and we had a load coming back through Memphis. And my sister worked downtown. She said, I said, girl, we doing a layover in Memphis. She said, I'm gonna meet you at the casino. We're gonna have a drink together. She said, I'm gonna come out there when I get out work because we was parked at the casino. I said, come on, girl. I said, I'm gonna go in and see my sister. Like that. He said, don't get out the truck. I said, but we in the parking lot and I'm gonna go. He had just got done with his shift. I was like, I want to go see my sister. She gonna meet me over here. We're gonna have a drink. I went in there and met my sister, had a drink. My sister had to work like she never showed up. When I came out of there, he was gone with all my clothes in the truck. He was gone. He had left town
Wow.
Oh,
with all my
wow.
stuff. I had, mind you, I didn't renew the lease on my apartment, and my motor went out on my car. At that time, I had a Ford Focus when I met this person, and my car, I sent the car back to the car lot because it was costing too much money to keep it fixed. I didn't renew the lease on it on my apartment. I wasn't evicted. I just didn't renew the lease, and we had a load coming back through Memphis. This was sort of like in August, so maybe July or August. And I had lived in that apartment 4 years, graduated my two kids. Woo, woo, woo. So he left, went out of town. I had to stay with my sister. And here I am almost 40 years old. I had never had nothing happen to me like this before. I'm like, what? And so I had to stay with my sister for 3 weeks till he got back to a load, get back to Memphis, and she had to buy me everything, clothes, toothbrush. All my stuff was in storage. All my immediate clothes and personal items was on the truck. That was the first sign. That was really the other than the gaslighting, that was the first sign of control right there. He came back to get me. I went back on the road with him. I got married on Valentine's Day, on Valentine's Day 2013. We got married. Lupac, I can't even believe I'm telling you this. The day after we got married, we had a vacation over to his mom house. Stay with me. We lived on the road. So when we would come off the road, we would go to his mom house in Houston. We give her $400 or $500. We stay there a week, buy groceries. We back gone out the road. He a flatbed driver. We'll go back on the road and work. By me being his little help on the road, helping strap down loads, I got my little pay like that, cooking and keeping the truck clean, stuff like that. This before I got my life. And so the day after I got married, we got married at the courthouse in Houston. The day after I got married, I woke up at 5 a.m. I had to use the bathroom. I walked past his mother room. I'm not knowing this woman, 90 years old, same age as my grandma. I'm not knowing that this lady is woke because her light off. He said, you didn't say good morning to my mom. I was like, well, I'm sleepwalking. I'm half asleep. I'm walking to the bathroom. I didn't even know she was woke. He pushed me down on the bed. Do you know I was on the bus, the Greyhound bus, the next morning back to Memphis?
Wow. At least you was like, I'm out of there. I am out of there.
Yeah, he was
My
a loose
grandma said
cannon.
my grandma said he's from California. He's not from Memphis. He's from like I think they was grew up in Watts, California, in East LA somewhere. And long story short, we went through this back and forth for 45 years. He would never even put me in an apartment. When I broke up with him and left, it was times I was just like Miss Sharon. I would go and come back, go and come back. Do you notice this sucker put his mama CNA worker in an apartment and I helped him move his stuff out?
Wow.
She was driving my car, our car, because he bought us an Altima when we first got married. Then in 2015, he bought me a silver BMW. She was driving my car. He didn't even put me in an apartment. I think it was like 2014. He picked me up from my grandma's house and he get sent me $500 for my birthday. He said we got way up to Michigan. He said I got something to tell you. I said what? He said I got an apartment, but me and somebody live together. I got a roommate. I'm like, huh? You got an apartment? You said you didn't want no apartment because we always on the road working. And come to find out, you can't make this stuff up. Y'all brace yourself. Long story short, the girl that was the CNA worker, she was from Haiti. She was from Haiti. A lot of them immigrants down there in Houston. She used to be drunk all the time. When Chris broke up with her, she ended up when he got done messing with her, she got hit by a car. She brain dead right to this day. A little bit after that, kept going back and forth on the road with him jumping out the truck in different places. Oklahoma, Texas. He finally went to jail in Rockwall, Texas. He put an AR-15 out on me, and
Oh
he went to
wow.
jail. Just so happened the police took me. I was able to get my belongings out the truck. My BMW was parked at the yard at the terminal, which was in Sunnyvale, which is a little part of outside of Dallas, right? Sunnyvale, by Mesquite. My phone, my Bluetooth about to die. But long story short, I got my license, and then I didn't go back no more. I used to have crime spells. I was 40 years old. I had two kids as a teenager. I never even went through nothing like this. Baby, I wouldn't wish this on nobody. All I said I would to say this right here. I'm just trying to get it out, not because I talk fast. Um, it's emotional roller coaster for 45 years. And once you land, you be like, where the hell I been? Where the HELL I been? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It was definitely an emotional roller coaster. I pray for any and everybody that's going through this or went through this or whatever. I'm currently in counseling right now. Um, I hate to tell y'all this, but we ain't even divorced. We have no property, no kids together. I just got to file a divorce. I've been lazy because I took sick for a little while. I'm just kind of getting back on my feet, back in the truck. So it's just been a lot going on. But the reason why I went back because my family it has been emotional abusive. Like I come from one of them families like my grandmama had to raise us, but our grandma was kind of mad at my mom for having to raise her children. So by me giving up my apartment and my house going on the road with him, when things weren't good with me and him, I would have to go back to the home house that I was raised in. So it was sort of I had to pick the lesser of two evils, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, my grandma swear me for this and then, and then, she's getting on me about every little thing, and it's crazy because I'm the only granddaughter that give her money, clean up, cook for her, wash her hair, braid it. I'm that granddaughter, I ain't no bragging or nothing. I just kind of hard I got, Lupac.
Yeah.
And so going back with him was more easy to deal with because I'm like, if I just be quiet, don't talk that much, and he would get mad when I would turn to the Lord and I go to praying. Them demons, they don't like God, girl. They'll get mad.
Nope.
They think you
They
using
sure
God
don't.
as a weapon on them. They'll think you using God as a weapon on them. But I was like, Lord, don't let this man hit me no more. Lord, I mean, and it wouldn't be me provoking him in his face, acting no fool, jumping up and down. That's like I got all my teeth right now. He could be mad at the job, low mileage. It could be his mama call anything. He would break my phone. I couldn't contact nobody, break TVs. Girl, do you hear me? Tasmanian devil, honey. Baby, I grew up in the rough part of Memphis, honey. I knew to stay away from men like this. But when this man approached me when I first met him, he just I didn't see the anger signs. It was just some gaslighting, but I didn't see the anger signs. But when he left me, that was the first red flag. But I was too embarrassed to go back home. I had already given up the apartment. I had already given up my car back to the car lot because it was kind of going down on me, and I was in survival mode, so I ended up going back with him and try to make the best of it.
Mhm. And
And
that's
he
how it be
and
sometimes. Sometimes you
yeah,
have no choice, you know. Well, you know, you always have a choice, but like you said, the lesser of two evils, you know, but it's unfortunate, but a lot of victims go through that also where they give in real easily to their abuser until they're strong
yes.
enough to actually get out.
Yes, 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 yes. But honey, I used to be that man was hitting me on top of my head when I was hanging on to the window. We got big mirrors on these semi trucks. I was hanging on the side of the window. That man rolled that window down and beat me on top of my head, peeling my fingers off of the thing because he was trying to get away. He didn't want to go to jail. And I was like, don't leave me here. I didn't call the police. Somebody called him at the truck stop. And so he went to jail in Rockwall. And and of course, he was calling me. I had to be the one to help take care of him. It was just a mess, girl. It was just a mess. It
Wow.
was just I'm his third wife. I'm his third wife.
You the third wife, you
So
said?
yeah, so let me just say this for some young girls. Baby, some you might be let me tell you that any young girl out there might be approaching 40 with teenage kids or kids about to go to college and y'all ain't married right now. Smoke the smoke the nigga over. Smoke the nigga over at his family. Don't be cause you feel like you 40 and you ain't married, baby. Don't sweat it. Don't feel I'm telling the young girls this. If you ever in a situation like I was and you feel like I'm approaching 40, these kids grown, I ain't married, God, smoke them over first. Take them to church, go to counseling. And if they say they don't want to go to counseling, that's a red flag because he didn't want to go. I'm telling the young girls this. If
Mhm.
he don't want to go to counseling, that's a red flag. We come out these ghetto neighborhoods, and then sometimes we don't find our husbands soon enough. By the time we get 40, we get to realizing who we are and what we want. But baby, every situation ain't gonna be like man. But I'm just telling you for real, smoke them over. Don't be in no hurry. A man can smell vulnerability on you. He can smell vulnerability on you.
Hurricane.
Vulnerability is the devil playground, baby.
Yep. Where you said you're from?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay. I was trying to figure out your accent.
Yeah, from
I
Memphis,
love
Tennessee.
it.
I was just trying to maybe I could try to help some young girls out there because I have a lot of friends and young girls that's in Memphis that are currently not married because guys, a lot of guys don't want to be committed or don't want to sound like a male bash and they got like a couple of families, different women out there don't want to be committed. So here comes somebody like a breath of fresh air coming from out of town, sweep me off my feet. I fell for it. I fell for the okie doke.
Mhm. Thank you so much for telling your story, my
So I'm gonna
girl.
drop back down in the chat. I love you, Pac, for bringing us that tea. I love the ladies on the line. Pac, let me say one thing. Girl, you bring that tea smooth and cool, honey. Okay, I'm gone, y'all. Kamala Harris was at our. I live in Georgia now. Kamala Harris' birthday today, and she was at our church, honey. Baby, I didn't know how to act. I was watching online. I'm going back down in the check. I love you, Pac. Love you,
Oh
Miss
wow.
Sharon, and
I
all the
love you
ladies
more,
on the
Miss
line.
Tamika.
Okay,
Thank you
God
so
bless
much for
y'all.
coming up.
Yes, ma'am. Bye bye.
Okay. Okay, y'all. So we have Child of God up here, and I'm pretty sure she's a survivor also. And she would like to tell her story. And, oh, and also my sister Chatty
Babe,
is in
watch her
the
finish talk for me.
building.
Sure. She right here in the living room.
Thank you,
I was.
sis, for coming up.
Hi, how
Love
you, Pop?
you.
Love you more. Go ahead, Child of God.
Hi, everybody on the panel.
Hey.
How is
Hey.
everybody
Can y'all
doing?
hear her good? Y'all let me know because I have my earphones on. So I'm just making sure that the chat, y'all let me know if y'all can hear everybody up here good.
Can everybody hear me?
Can
I
y'all
can
hear her
hear.
good?
I
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Well, my story
What happened? You must have muted.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead. You must
Okay,
have you must
I
have
came.
muted.
Okay, I don't know what's happening with my phone, but anyway, I came from a background from drugs and alcohol. I was an alcoholic and I was a drug addict, and so I went into this program and I met this guy. And his name, I ain't gonna give his name, but I met this guy and I always wanted to be married. So I was in the church because I was in this program. So we was mandated to go to church and stuff. So I met this guy. He was a singer. He had a really beautiful voice. I mean, he used to sing in the choir and everything. But anyway, uh I was in the church, but me and him was sneaking off having sex. And when you in the church, you can't do that because you're supposed to be a Christian and they don't want you to have sex before marriage. So me and him kept sneaking off doing it, doing.
You muted again, child of God, or you maybe
Okay.
it's I don't know if it's
I don't
go
know why
ahead.
my phone, because you know when you're on live, your phone's supposed to stay on the live, but it always go off. My phone always go off like it's, in the resting mode. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, I ended up marrying this guy. I did because he used to tell me before he got married, he said, "Tell that girl to leave me alone. I don't like her like that." And because I really wanted to be married, I used to go sit in the church and look at everybody's finger to see if that person was married. Because I always had I wanted to be married. And I didn't care how I did it. I wanted to be married to somebody. So me and we was in the same Christian home. He was in the men Christian home, and I was in the women Christian home. And every once in a while, we would sneak off and have sex. And so, but I would feel guilty about it every time I would do it. So I would repent, but I would do it again, and then so I would repent, and so I do it again. And so it's a scripture in the Bible to tell you to expose the devil and he'll flee. So one day I went to church and I thought that if I got up in full of the pulpit and tell everybody that I've been having sex and I don't know how to stop out of wedlock, I thought maybe if I exposed the devil, he was gonna flee. So I went in front of the pulpit and told everybody, the congregation, told everybody I was having sex out of wedlock. Don't you know, soon as I said that I was having sex out of wedlock, this man came up to me and proposed to me to marry him. I thought he was gonna flee, but he didn't.
Oh wow.
And then so we got married. We got married. And I was so, girl, I was so in la la land. I was in heaven. I got me a husband now. I was married now. That's how I was feeling. That I was a married woman now.
Go ahead, child of God.
I don't have to fornicate no more because I got me a man now, and I was married now. And so I was just so excited. So the day we got married, I mean, he proposed to me. No, the day we got married, he looked at me and he said to me, he said, "If you ever cheat on me, I'm gonna kill you.
Unalive.
I mean, unalive you." He said, I'm sorry, Lil Pop.
That's
I'm gonna,
okay. I was trying to
I'm
catch
gonna
you.
unalive
I knew
you."
it was coming.
And I was like, "Oh my God, he's so much in love with me. He's talking about unaliving me if I do anything wrong to him." Girl, I was just in la la land. I was like, I was feeling so good because this man told me he was going to unalive me. I said, "Oh, he must really love me because he
How old were
said,"
you at the time?
oh my God, I was in my 20s, my
Okay.
late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
And so I was like, "Oh my God, this man said he's gonna unalive me." I thought, girl, I was feeling so good about myself because this man had to love me because he said he was gonna do this to me. So he had to love me. So as time went on, I relapsed. He relapsed. So I was going out turning tricks to the get the drug. And so when I come back, he would just beat me and kick me around and beat me and kick me around until I can go back out and get some more. So one night I was laying on the couch, sleep, and this man went in the refrigerator and he got a big old jug of cold water. This man had time enough to put on his boots and everything. He went in the refrigerator. I was laying on the couch, sleep, and I woke up to this cold water hit my body, hit me in the face. And I wake up. When I wake up, he's standing right over me. And when I woke up and I got ready to get up off the couch, girl, he kicked me in my chest with them steel toe boots. Boom.
Oh wow. Wow. What happened? She must have went out again. Child of God. She might be talking and don't realize that the sound went out, y'all. I know she said something with her phone. Child of God so animated. I love it. She tell a story, baby. I don't know what happened. She might have to go out and come back in. Anybody got any remarks? Oh, I did say we have, yeah, I did say we got yams up here. Anybody have any remarks towards her story so far while she come? I don't know if she realized that she's out or not.
I can't believe he kicked up with some steel toe boots.
That was crazy.
He was
But you know,
out.
when you dealing with a bruiser, you never know what they gonna do. It's some of them get real creative with the bruise.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see.
I hope she not still talking and don't realize that she's not up here no more. I don't know if she can.
Is it me or is it choppy?
No, she I don't know if she realized that her sound went out. She was in the middle of speaking and it just and her mic is on. That's the crazy part. Her mic is on, but she said something was up with her phone. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Her phone must be timing out, and I don't know if when it
I
times out, it
know.
stops the sound or not.
I'm gonna drop the link again, y'all. If anybody else in the chat has a
I
story
see
to
Pop's
tell,
bubble moving, but I can't hear her. I just heard you, Jenny Gang. Is anybody else experiencing that?
you can't hear me. Can y'all put in a comment that y'all can't? Okay, she didn't drop down, so she probably realized that she wasn't speaking anymore. Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me good. Um, hold on, y'all. Let's see. And I did drop the link if anybody else wants to come up and briefly tell their story, or if you even if you have a family member that went through something and you would like to share that, you can also, because like I said, I'm still waiting on that lady that's coming from church. Hey, Miss Shalene. Hey to everybody else who just joined in, who came in that I didn't get a chance to speak to. Y'all know I don't ignore y'all, but the ladies was talking, so I didn't want to interrupt. But shout out to y'all for coming through. Y'all please hit that like button on your way in or out if you don't mind. More than likely they probably gonna demonetize this live, child, because y'all it's a sensitive topic, and more often than not these type of lives don't get monetized. So but it's a good call. So that's what counts. Okay, she's back, y'all. And we
What
do have
part
my
did
girl Chrissy on the stage also. I don't think she don't have no picture up there. I'm gonna tell her to put her picture up. But thank you, Chrissy, for joining in.
And hey, chat. Sorry, I couldn't comment. Hey, chat.
Hi everybody. I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
What part did y'all stop hearing me at?
The
We
steel
stopped
toe
at
boot
steel toe boots.
situation.
Oh yeah. I was laying on the couch sleep, and he threw some cold water on me. He got it out the refrigerator and threw cold water on me. So I jumped up. When I jump up, he had on his boots, and he had on some steel toe boots that he worked in. And girl, when I got ready to jump up off the couch, the launch at him, he kicked me right in the chest, girl, and I fell back on the couch, and he knocked all the wind out of my body.
Oh, wow.
Then so after that, me and him both, we had started back using again, but he wanted me to go out on the streets and do the thing to get the stuff that we were smoking. But anyway, when I come back, he will always jump on me. So one night he wanted me to go out and get some stuff. And so I told him I wasn't, and he wanted the ring because I had a little diamond ring on my finger he had bought me when we got married. So he wanted the ring off my finger so he can go sell it. And so I went and give it to him. And so he said, I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna throw you out this two-storage room window. Girl, he let the window up and had me dangling outside this window, and then I had made up in my mind. I said, no, my life is not worth the little diamond ring. So I told him I'll give it to you. I said, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Please, please don't drop me. Girl, he pulled me back
Wow.
through the window, took the ring off my finger. He said, matter of fact, don't you come back here tonight. You sleep outside. And then so he took me to the back door, and he opened the door. He said, you see that couch right there that's laying right there in this yard? He said, I want you sleeping on that couch when I come back.
Wow.
Girl, when he came back, was I on the couch? It was in the wintertime. It was around Christmas time, and I live here in California. And it be cold in the wintertime. And you thought I was sleeping on that couch when he came back? Girl, the next day, I called my sister. I told my sister, I said, can you please send for me? I said, my husband has been jumping on me. I said, I didn't want to tell nobody because I was embarrassed about it. I said, can you please send for me? And my sister sent for me. And when my sister sent for me, I got on that Greyhound bus. I didn't tell him nothing. So I went to Indiana and stayed with my sister for like 5 months. And I didn't do no drugs. I didn't do none of that. I was just trying to get my life back together. And
Yeah.
he was calling me, telling me how much he had changed and stuff. And girl, was calling me, telling me how much he had changed in them little 5 months. And so me, I'm believing it because I wanted my marriage to work because I always wanted to be married. So 5 months later, I go back. My sister sent me back. She give me a ticket to get on the Greyhound bus to go back. So I go back. Like a month later, the whole thing started all over again. He started jumping
Wow.
on me. He started kicking on me. He started beating on me. He told me if he couldn't have me, nobody else can have me. So the straw that broke the camel back is when I came back, he was jumping on me. So I moved in with my best friend.
Mhm.
And when I moved in with my best friend, he would come every day over there just to see me, but I wouldn't come downstairs because I was scared of him. So
Mhm.
one day he fooled me. It was Father's Day. He fooled me. He said, come and spend the night with me. And he said, we can go to church the next day. I said, okay. Because I wanted my marriage to work, and I hadn't been with him in a long time. So I wanted to be with him. So I went to his house. He had a little studio apartment. So I went to his house. Girl, don't you know that man? That man took all my clothes off. It was pouring down rain at night. He took all my clothes off, and he took some Listerine that you gargle your mouth with, and he poured it on me.
Wow.
And I said, me with my smart mouth gave him an idea. So I said, you might as well strike a match and light me on fire. That's what I told him. Girl, that man tried to strike a match, tried to strike a match, and by the grace of God, it didn't light because he would have burnt me up. So
Mhm.
he beat me and beat me and beat me and beat me. He beat me so bad that night that I was willing, because he thought I wasn't gonna do it. He said, well, you feel like you don't want to be here, just leave and don't take none of your clothes. Girl, I was starving, buck naked. I ain't have on no clothes. He said, if you feel that you don't want to be here, just leave, and you ain't taking nothing with you. Girl, I was willing to walk down that street buck naked with no clothes on to get away from that man.
Mhm. Sometimes you have to leave in those type of circumstances, cuz listen, Your life is way more important, baby.
Yeah, can y'all still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then so I was hollering so loud, girl. He took a towel and he stuffed it down my throat. Cause he said, "You need to shut up. You need to shut up right now." And girl, he was beating me and beating me and beating me. So when the beating was all over with, guess what? We did the thing, did the nasty, and then the next morning, it was Sunday morning. He got up. I was still laying in the bed, girl, full of Listerine, and he was standing over the bed, the foot of the bed, and he said, "Don't you know I love you?"
Wow.
Girl, he had on his suit, getting ready to go to church. Girl, don't you know when that man left out that house, I hurried up and put on my clothes. I got on the next bus, the next AC Transit bus that took me back to my friend house that I was staying with, and I didn't see that man no more. And then so I found out later that my one of my best friends, they was getting married.
Mhm.
She was my best friend, and she was getting married. So I told her, I said, "You better be careful." I said, "Because he's very abusive." And I said, she said, "Well, I don't have that to worry about because he never put his hands on me." I said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you like this: move in with him and find out." So they moved
Mhm.
in, they got married, they moved in, and girl, don't you know he took her head. He was abusive to her by then. She was looking in the refrigerator for something, and he took her head, and he took the refrigerator door, and he slammed it on her head.
Oh, wow.
So did, and I told her when he died, he unalive now, cause her brother did something to him and unalived him. And she wanted me to go to the wake with her to see his body, and I went with her, and she was crying and stuff. And I told her, I said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "This man can't put his hands on you no more. Why are you crying? You should be over in that casket, beating him upside his head like he was beating you upside your head." I said, "That's
Okay.
what I feel like doing right now." I said, "Because he did me worse than he did you, because I was married to him for a long time." I said, "You only was married to him for a short of a time." I said, "You over here crying for this man and he tried to unalive you." I said, "You crazy." But as time progressed, she went on about her way, and I went on about my way, and that was the end of the story. He got killed. Got unalive at the end of his at the end of that whole thing, and it was like crazy. It's like when my second time being married, I told God, I said, "Lord," I said, if this is not your will, I said, I can pull up out of it anytime. I said, you got to let me know if this your will. I don't want to never, ever, 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 ever make another mistake like I made the first time. You kept on telling me that was not my husband and I wasn't listening. I said, but this time, my eyes are open and my ears are open.
Mhm.
And trust
Yep.
me, I thought I got married second time, been married for 12 years, and my husband have never ever called me out of my name, have never ever put his hands on me, and because I had told God, I said, if this is not for you, if this is not of you, I don't want it. I had learned my lesson. I learned my lesson.
Well, that's a blessing that you made it out. I'm so glad that you at a point in your healing journey where you're able to tell your story. Because not too many women are. And thank you so much, child of God, for giving us a little summary of what you went through. And like I said, I'm glad you made it out. It's a blessing. It's a blessing just to be able to speak it. Period.
Yep.
Yes,
So I'm
yes,
I'm I'm
Yep.
praying for you and your continuous healing. Thank you for supporting my channel and thank you for being a part of this panel also. Um if any of you ladies have anything y'all would like to say or add or ask, because I also have my other survivor that's up here. Shout out to Miss Lakeisha. She made it through, y'all. She's gonna get into her story. But if y'all have anything y'all want to add, y'all can right now before she starts, before she starts telling her story.
Okay, I want to say one more thing before I drop down, Lupac, and I'm gonna be in the chat because I want to listen to her story. I just want to hear you sing my name, girl. Sing my name.
Well, I don't do I sing I don't remember singing your name. When you say
Yeah,
I always
I
say
sent you
child
a
of
super chat. I
God.
said, Lupac, sing my name. And you said, I can't just do it right off the bat. So I was
You
just
gotta
playing with
catch
you.
me.
I just love when you be calling, when you be singing people's names.
You gotta
Okay, well,
catch me. You gotta catch me. I
I
gotta
know
just
that's what you
do it.
told me. I got to catch you off guard. So,
Yeah, I can't do it on the spot. I'm gonna try to remember it next time when I shout you out, okay?
okay, all right, ladies. Y'all talk to you later. I'm gonna be down in the chat. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you so much, child of God, for coming up.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, y'all. So we have this is the other survivor that I spoke with, and she's gonna pretty much tell us her story. Don't be nervous, Lakeisha. Thank you so much for coming up,
Thank
and I'm so glad that you are at a point in your healing process where you're able to, speak your story publicly.
yes, thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Lakeisha Romero. Both of my I think my you can find me on Facebook under that name.
Okay.
Um, let me start off. I was been praying about how I would deliver, my story because it's a lot. Um, let's see. It started back in I think '03. It's been like 20 years now. And I met my now her ex husband. I met him at Walmart. I was working, and at the beginning it was nice. I mean, I didn't now that I'm older, I know the signs of a man doing too much too soon. Um so it started off like I had my own place and everything. I didn't have a car. He came with a car. Thought that was sweet, nothing of it, but it just got started getting more so. As time go by, we ended up, moving together. And it wasn't until I got pregnant with our first son, it started with a slap. I don't remember why at the time, but it started off like that. Um, then the control, um, like trying to keep me away from my family. Basically, I don't have much family here. My family's in Colorado, and I did share some personal stories about me growing up and how, stuff like that. And only for him to use that against me, you know. Got me secluded from my friends and stuff, and then that's when more, I thought it would. I thought, okay, let me take it back. When I was pregnant, he wanted me to stay home. I've always worked, went to school and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'll be a housewife or whatever. But I didn't know that that was part of his plan per se. Um, like I said, it started off with a slap, and then I'm gonna give you one instance. Incident. I was pregnant with my son. I had two other kids,
Mhm.
and I was having car problems. And he got mad, like said I was playing games, and I was like really like stuck and stuff. So when I got home, my friend ended up coming, bringing me home, and he jumped out the car and pulled a pistol to my head and actually pulled the trigger. And by the grace of God, it didn't go off. And I remember my two older sons were in the car looking. She jumped out. He put the gun on her too. I'm not sure if he pulled the trigger. And then I remember it kicking me, and then he took off. I don't know if this man was on drugs or anything, but that's one of the incident. One another story. I remember another time when it happened, when an incident happened, and I called his mother. I remember him. I ran out the house with my kids, and I ended up running to a church around the corner from where I was staying. And I called his mom. She told me to go back. I shouldn't have them kids out late. And I told her everything that happened at the time. I was like, your son did this, and this is what happened. And she totally turned her. She said I was wrong, and for having them kids out that late, and totally disregarded what happened to me. You know, and now mind you, I didn't have much support where at the time, family wise, because I had moved away. I was young, trying to move to nice. I thought was a different scenery for myself. Just a better city or whatever. And he took advantage of that. And she was actually come to find out his she didn't she I don't know how to say it because she's kind of evil. She was in all. I didn't know she was in his business like that, and she was kind of saying it was okay, you know. Um, and I don't know. It's hard. I don't know why I stayed, why I kept going back. There's been times where he even manipulated the police. I never called the police. The neighbors always end up calling. He threw me out a window before. I have um a scar that I have to look at every day and be reminded of that stuff. But I kind of started knowing, like as I was young, I didn't. I think I was more naive and didn't, love myself and stuff then to allow all that going on, and it was really hard to to get away from him. Um, he ended up offing himself in 2017 for he got in an argument with his daughters, and one of his daughters were saying that he SA'd her. So the other daughter, I guess, came in and found them in an argument, and it came out, and he pushed them out the house or some kind of thing. He ended up offing himself, and every since then it's crazy how it looked like. I did tell his baby mama there was times I felt uncomfortable with his daughter being around, and unless I was there, And I told her that they thought I was crazy. I caught him looking at my sister. I thought, this is signs before that. Just that he's just an all around awful person. But and after everybody's like, oh, his daughter was like, I'm sorry, it's so much. Um, his
It's all
oldest
right.
daughter,
You're doing good.
yeah, thank you.
You're
His
welcome.
oldest daughter ended up a few years ago telling me actually what happened and what with the offing of himself and stuff like that. And I had asked her, have you ever felt this way with your dad growing up? And it was true, And it's crazy because nobody wants to. We like us women, we think, oh, she's hating, or we really gotta pay attention. If I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but there's good people here in this world. There's good women and good men. But ladies, like if your daughter or kid is with a guy and his girlfriend try to tell you something, please, please pay attention, you know, because I think a lot of things could have been avoided. When I left this person, that man, even afterwards, it was hard to get away. He found out where I stayed. I had restraining orders. He didn't care. He came to my house, jumped out the bushes, literally jumped out the bushes. When I came outside, punched me in my face and took off. That time I had a tool, but I'm in the neighborhood. There's nothing I could do. There was kids, but you know,
Push
um,
push pause, Lakeisha, real quick. I
okay,
can hear your nervousness. Just take your time,
okay,
telling your
okay,
story. Because I know you
yes,
don't
ma'am,
have too much, experience speaking on a public platform.
exactly.
I
Hmm.
applaud you for your bravery, even coming up, y'all. Lakeisha's story was very, very intriguing to me because I don't know if y'all know, but she just said her baby not that's your baby daddy, right? He was your baby daddy.
Yes, yes,
He unalive himself. and it was on the news, y'all. I don't remember the exact story, but she did send me the article. And she had her experience with him. And then I don't how long ago was it when he unalived himself? Do you remember?
Yes, October 10th, 2017.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So
Mhm.
you can kind of like I heard you say that you seen or you noticed the signs after the fact from him as saying, was it one of his other daughters or his
Yes.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can kind of break it down from there, but just take your time. You don't have to be
Okay.
nervous.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, his daughter, that he didn't get her until okay, with that daughter that he SA. When I was pregnant, a lady reached out to me and said that she sent me a pic. I went and picked up a picture from her cousin of a baby that looked like my baby, and she said it was his. And I brought it to him. Oh, I don't, he was denying it, all this. So when we had broke up, I guess he had stepped in and took the baby because her mom was neglecting her at the time, up at the time, I guess, or whatever. But that, I guess, when she was staying with him, that's when that started happening. And, it led to that because he didn't want to face the consequences of what he did, you know. Um, uh, I guess that was his only way out. Um,
He couldn't deal with it. It sounded like he couldn't deal with, you know,
exactly.
um, the embarrassment of it all from his actions.
Hmm.
It was eating away at him.
Hmm. And as I think about it, there was a time when we had got into it, and we were driving, and this man stopped in the middle of traffic, and it was a bridge, and he got out the car and he said, I off myself now. He was gonna jump over the bridge. I should have known then someone, right, but I just, there was all kind of signs. I really wish I knew then what I know now what I wish I knew then what I know now, you know. And at that time I was like, I went through so much. I was like, do what you need to do. I really was hoping he would jump. And I hate to say it like that, but I really did, you know. Um and little stuff like that, and come to find out his ex-wife, we're all good friends, him and his other kid's mother and his ex-wife. Come to find out, he had got into it with her, trapped her in the closet, and set the outside on fire. And same thing. She called. She told his mother, and nothing. And there's other little things He's done that's coming out since he's been gone. But yeah, every day is it. I'm getting better. Um, but it's just hard to I get angry at times. I have different emotions, um, about the situation because it's so much, you know. Um, I also went through another incident about 3 years ago, and I tried dating again, and it was with somebody I dated when I was younger. I was in another state, and he happened to be here, which is crazy. And so we got together. It was like a year, and I broke up with him because he was going through a divorce, and I was like, "Nah, this ain't right. You're not here mentally. This just not heal and all that." And this man broke into my house and choked me while I was asleep. He knew at the time I was taking medicine to sleep, and if it wasn't for my son, I would not be here today. You know, he heard. All I remember is me being against a wall, a black image, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, I had a release from my neck, and I just saw my son on top of him, and then police just rushing all through my house. And it's crazy because the night before, I had to call because he was stalking, and I took my night meds, and when the officers got here, they told me I was drunk, I was everything. They wasn't trying to hear me, and he even convinced them that he stayed with me. You know, and it's crazy because I was like, why aren't the officers like trying to help me? You know, I called, but it backfired on me. I wasn't being irate. I wasn't being disrespectful. And it's crazy how they could manipulate because my ex manipulated the police officers as well. You know, even put a scratch on himself before. So
Wait, you said you called in that incident and you went to jail?
no, no. The night before this last incident, I had called because he was around my house. He wouldn't leave. Because I set him down and I was like, we can't be together right now. You're going through a divorce. It's affecting you. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to you. So let's just be friends, you know? And I guess he couldn't handle that. So that night the police came. He told him he was staying with me. Now, mind you, he only had like a couple outfits. He stayed in his own spot. So they believed everything he said. As a, to me, they didn't because I was on my little nightmares, which I do look drowsy. And I was in the middle of, I don't know if anybody been on a sleeping meds, but um, yeah, I probably did appear like that, but I wasn't, you know. And I kept telling them that. I'm like, I'll go show you my bottle. They didn't care. They didn't care about none of that. I'm not sure why, but um, that's what happened. And the next day, well, that morning, I guess that's when he did it. I'm not sure what time it was when he did that, but I remember the same officer, one of the same officers, a guy officer. Um, he took my pictures on my neck, and I was like, I told you so. He's like, well, nothing happened then, you know. And it's crazy. Like it's hard. I think I'm trying to say sometimes, we do reach out and we try to get help, and it's hard to get that help, especially when you have nobody. You know, um, that would be my situation. And so now I just be more vigilant on who who I talk to and stuff, and it does affect me now, but not as bad. But I just always pray for a discernment with who I'm dealing with. You know, um, it changed me a lot because now I got cameras in every angle of my house, indoors, outdoors, garage, everything. So you know, and I go to counseling and stuff like that to help with my anxiety, the PTSD. Uh, it's a lot. It's hard to sometimes. I'm sorry, my dog. I apologize. Um, the healing is. I'm sorry, my dog.
That's okay.
The, I was outside. I just take it day by day. Um, and just I just want to help other women. There's resources out there. Um, there's women like myself that are here. If I didn't open my mouth, I wouldn't have known that my son's godmother went through it for 15 years. She never knew I went through it because I never told her. The times I dropped off my kids and stuff never showed any signs. So sometimes it's good just to speak up because we don't know who's around us to help us, who's around us to uplift us, to tell
That's
you
true.
to be a testimony. Because if it wasn't for the grace of God, that trigger, that trigger was pulled, I wouldn't be here.
Yep.
Or if it weren't for my son, I was like, I didn't know what was going on. If it wasn't here.
I think her sound might have went. I mean, her
So
mic might. Let me tell you this,
I just
Lakeisha.
hope that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I thought your
Oh
sound
no,
had
go
went out.
ahead.
I just want to say, because I heard you mention about, you having anxiety and stuff like that when it comes to dating and the
Hmm.
cameras um and this is not just for Lakeisha, this is for all women. When it comes to dating, y'all, I feel like you have to stay real spiritual and keep a close relationship with God. Wait for
Definitely.
God to send you the right person. Don't, because when
Hmm.
anytime you go into a situation and you do the choosing or the picking, 9 times out of 10 is the wrong man. And
Yep.
and a lot of times, people get confused and they like, oh well, I thought he was heaven sent or God sent or whatever. When God send you your person, you're gonna know. Trust the
Hmm.
process. You will know. But you have to stay prayed up. You have to have that faith and don't just rush into no situation if you see the red flags. And another thing, don't hold yourself accountable or down yourself because you don't notice the red flags. Because if you never experienced a DV situation, then you won't know anything about red flags. So,
Yep.
and I notice a lot of women tend to hold themselves accountable or blame themselves for not seeing the red flags or ignoring the red flags. But when you in that type of situation, a lot of times you don't know because you don't have that experience. Now, moving
Hmm.
forward, if you go into another relationship, you'll have a little more experience as far as seeing the red flags, pointing them out, and removing yourself from that situation. But and another thing also is when it comes to police officers, a lot of times they do get it wrong. They do side with the male partner or whatever. And it's unfortunate, it's real unfortunate, but don't allow that to stop you from utilizing 911, baby. Okay? Because they ain't gonna always get it
Exactly.
wrong. They ain't gonna always get it wrong. They human
Yep.
just like us, but sometimes they do get it wrong. Sometimes the aggressor or abuser can really put on a victim role. And the police don't really know, especially if there isn't any physical um attributes where they can see that you've been physically abused. So just
Exactly.
keep utilizing them because that's why they're here. Don't allow that to stray you away from calling 911 or trying to take that situation into your own hands because you will end up in prison yourself, knowing you actually the victim. But like I said, y'all, red flags, you live and you learn. We all human at the end of the day, but when it comes to dating, keep God first in that situation, and that's how you really get the right person in your life. Because if you ain't living right, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna attract the lifestyle that you're living. Don't let that go over your head.
Preach, Pop.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Lakeisha. I just wanted to chime in a little bit because I didn't want you
Yes.
down on yourself. I heard when you said that about the red flags, and I feel like we all been there where we
Right.
intentionally ignored red flags, or sometimes you don't even know what a red flag is. We be
Right.
think if you have childhood trauma, a lot of times you will think what's wrong is actually right. You don't know until you grow and experience from certain situations. So,
Right. Yeah, that's so true. I have experienced childhood traumas, and that does, you know, affect your relationships with in general with people, and especially men. If you don't have that dad or good male figure to teach you, to show you, it's hard to, especially when you've been essayed, or a lot of us women dealt with that growing up. And sometimes, like myself, I don't have support. I don't have, I have family, but they not family. I don't know you know if you understand, but like it's just me and my kids. It ain't nobody else, ain't nobody I could have ran to or nothing. So it's hard when you don't have anything to at that time for me to get help, you know. I know there was other resources, but I don't at the time I was like, no, you know, I don't know why, but you know, it's just there are resources out there, ladies. There's a lot of resources, and don't be scared to go up into a shelter, honey. Okay? Go, they will pick you up, they will take you, they will make sure nobody knows where you at, and it's okay to start over. It's okay.
Yep, I agree. It's okay to start over, and it's also okay to move to another state if you have to. A
Yes.
lot of times a fresh start is warranted, y'all. A lot of times moving away from the area that affects you the most, that triggers you the most, just getting as far away from your abuser as you possibly can really be beneficial to you and your kids, or if you don't have kids, just the whole starting over process.
Yep.
Because you don't
And
want to be going to the grocery store looking over your shoulder, or the police didn't get it right, and that person is still roaming free and still very much invested into you. That's why I
mm,
say a lot of times victims will keep tabs on their abuser even after the fact, as a part of their healing process, just to know this person ain't keeping tabs on me. Okay,
yep.
so
Yep. And yeah, a lot of unstable people. Their stalking is real. Stalking is real. So, tread light if y'all just seek the resources you need to if you serious about moving out, because you don't know what it started with a slap. Okay, you don't know it could be even what's that financial abuse. All that is abuse, guys. Like, don't think, like, at the time I thought, oh, being a housewife, that was not, just be vigilant, because that was his way of moving in to keep me secluded, you know, to make sure I didn't have no money coming in and stuff like that. Now I know now, you know. So just be careful, ladies, how he moved. Just because he do this and do that don't mean nothing. Still let him show you who he is, how he is, and please get to know his mama. you know, it's
yep.
crazy because she stood behind that and still stands for that. So there are women that that,
And that's
that are
crazy
just like
because a
that.
lot of mothers do that for their sons. Like
Yep,
it's
yep,
real crazy. You would think that they would chastise or be against that, but a lot of women, mothers, let me say, will ignore that behavior just because it's their son, and it's
yep,
very unfortunate. Like I didn't witness it before. I didn't witness
yep,
it before, and I just don't understand it because I have two sons, and baby, I'm not going for that.
yeah,
Period. I am not
mm-hmm,
going for that.
yep,
I
yep. And I
agree
got
with Pop.
5 sons, and whew, they bet no, none of their wives better come to me with that. Ain't no telling how I act, but I don't think they would. But still, as a mom, I couldn't be her like the way she did me. You know, ain't no way. But you teach your kids not to do stuff like that. And then you got to set an example too. I didn't think my oldest ones really knew that, because sometimes they would sleep when it happened and stuff. Well, guess what? They knew everything. You know. So just think about them babies. Please think about them babies. You think they don't know, they know. They feel the spirit in the house. They feel when it's off. They feel everything, you know.
And you know what? Also, I want to speak. Let me piggyback off of what you just said before I forget. When you
Mhm.
said that he didn't want you working, and that was a
Mhm.
form of him, abusing you as well. And a
Mhm.
lot of times, not all men, y'all, but in some situations, you will have where that man don't want you to work and keep the finances from you. But one thing I always say, and I tell this to my friends also, it's best to be independent, and it's all good if you have a man that's a provider, whatever, but men treat you different when you can stand on your own.
Yep.
Trust the plus. Even if it's a non-abusive man, notice how when you got your own bag, because they automatically, it's a human thing. They automatically know you don't need them.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
And whether you're dealing with
Exactly.
an abusive partner or non-abusive, a man will treat you differently when he knows that you don't need him. Trust the plus. So it's always good to have your own money, even if you got a provider. Like my mom always say, baby, ain't nothing wrong with a man that's doing what he's supposed to do, but you make sure you keep your stash.
Mm.
Period. At any given moment, because you never know what can happen in a relationship. His money is your money, but your money is your money. Okay?
Yep.
And hey everybody.
Hey, Yam.
I um I wanted to speak to the moms and just a different perspective for those that might be going through something, and I'll keep it brief because I'm still very angry. So um Christmas Eve will make 14 years that my sister was palled, and New Year's Eve would make 14 years that we had to take her off life support. I fought this man. I bit this man. We jumped this man. I pulled weapons out on this man. And that was her decision. And we were not on speaking terms as a result of this man when he decided to do that 14 years ago on Christmas Eve. One of the reasons why I still kind of hate the holidays. But I remember being in court and watching his mother and sister pull out awards that he won when he was 13 and 14 years old, and painting this picture of this amazing man. And they were oblivious to the fact that you enabled a monster. You ignored all signs. When other girlfriends came in and testified in that court, you ignored it and you coddled that man. And that's a problem that we have when we see these signs and we ignore them. His signs were ignored because he had a mother that looked at him as if he was amazing. He had a mother that ignored the fact that when he was 18 years old, he almost bit a part of a girlfriend's earlobe off, but only to return almost 20 years later and you took someone's life. So when you see these signs, and I promise you, I hate talking about this because I'm still 14 years later and I'm angry because I remember biting this man. I remember punching this man, and I hated him. I hated him. I hated him for her. And I hate even more the people in his life that ignored the previous abuse with other women. And he took mine from me. Took. I I had to go when we were allowed to return to the home and get that pillow when he blew our brains out. I still see that. I still see that stained comforter, and you ignored the sign. So my story is a little different. So when you have these men or these people and you see the signs, please stop making excuses for them. Please. They
Sharon.
won't change. And if he started this young, he will return and do something fatal later. And he took mine, took her, gone.
Understand.
And I'm pissed. And I live with that. I had to cut someone off because of the choices they made, where I have to love you enough to walk away because I
Hmm.
can't keep fighting this person for you. And I hate that.
Yep. Whew, Chatty, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Listen, I wanted to message you yesterday and see if you would be willing to, talk about your situation with your sister. But look at God, baby. You came through with it. And
Hmm.
I feel your pain because I know y'all, I didn't told y'all plenty of time, which I'm not ready to tell my story just yet. But I have also been through DV, and where I isolated myself from my family. My bruiser did it as well, but it was more so me because I knew it was wrong, even though I was young. And, like I said, a lot of times these situations are stem from childhood trauma. we as young girls, we look for our dad in these men. So if you see a situation where your dad is abusive towards your mom, you see that as love. As kids, I always say this, y'all, you have to be raised into adults. So you are 9 times out of 10 a product of your environment, and what you see is what you become accustomed to. So if you seeing the abuse, if you hearing the abuse, and all of these things, then you look for that. You looking for that love in these different men that you were supposed to get from your father growing up, and you didn't get it. And it's unfortunate, but it's very much real. It's very much real. And one day I'll get there to where I can really tell it, but for now I kind of give like bits and pieces of it. But
Hmm.
I'm not all the way there yet, y'all. But I'll get there. I'll get there. And shout out to you, Yam. Somebody got an echo.
Up, I think that's me. I'm sorry, Lupac. I do
That's okay. Just
apologize.
just mute, Chris. Just mute.
Okay.
Um.
But I did want to kind of tell a more recent story that happened to me and my family.
Okay, go
Just
ahead. Go
off
ahead. Let
of
me
what
mute.
she just
Wait
just said.
one second, honey. I'm so sorry because I have to hop down and I don't want to be rude as if I didn't want to hear, but I had to support my sis and let this out. So I wanted to
Okay.
close um and say I'm angry. You know,
Mhm.
I wanted to close to say when you see these signs from your brother, uncle, father, nephew, don't coddle them.
Mhm.
I wanted to thank the women that testified that he abused before, that they made excuses for, as far as his family, that, oh, he was just playing. It's not a
Mhm.
game because someone can potentially not be here anymore.
Facts.
Um, I thank the parole board for reaching out to me, in which I make sure that I am so available at any chance he could potentially get to even think of getting out, even though he attempted to escape before, and that was hilarious. But I say this with anger: stop coddling these situations. And I
Mhm.
say this with love and anger because I stopped speaking to someone that meant the world to me, but that was the best choice. And I put it in God's hand. And I wish I can take that time back. It's
Mhm.
not a game. And there are situations in which men are visibly 100% undeniable problematic. And he was one of them. He didn't care who he was in front of, he
Mhm.
was problematic, and that was her choice, and I have to live with that. So um on that note, uh I respect all. On that note, please, um don't stay in those situations, and on that note, please don't coddle bad behavior. So much love and peace to all.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for telling us that. Ooh, yeah, y'all know one thing about Chad is she gonna come through with the come through and give you the chills, baby. Ooh, go ahead, Chrissy.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Chrissy J, and like that story really resonated with me, like, and really has me kind of like teary eyed because I recently just lost, and she's like a niece to me. Her grandmother raised me, and I recently just lost my my niece to DV, and it wasn't her situation, it was her friend's situation, and it affected three different families.
Oh
Some people
wow.
might hear the story. It happened in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, they went to go pick up her best friend's child from the grandmother's house, and it was a coddling situation because her best friend had a restraining order on her, on the on her baby daddy, um, because he was abusive. It got so bad that her folks jumped in one time, and he ended up stabbing the mother. And then after that, they got the restraining order, different things like that. She decided that it was okay for him to her to keep like in touch with his family and all of those different things or whatever. And that's why she was taking her child to the grandmother's house. But the guy was not supposed to be there, and within result or whatever he was, they ended up what ended up happening was he opened fire um, on the vehicle and unalived my cousin, her best friend, and one of their other really good friends. And the only person that was left alive in that situation was their daughter together. The man then unalived himself after that. And when I say that they took an angel from our family, they literally took an angel from our family. We have so many good memories. Her name was Sade. So many good memories. And she was trying to stand in the gap from a friend from this situation. And she's no longer with us. And I'll just say, like, you can't coddle people in their situations, because even after this, the family was trying to justify what the man had did, and it almost even escalated into more individuals getting hurt just off of that. So I would say, if it is a son that's doing something, or that things are going wrong or whatever, hold them accountable. People's lives are at stake, family members are at stake, and different things like that or whatever. And I just would hate for somebody to go through that. My cousin was 23 years old. We were supposed to be going to her, not cousin, well, she's a cousin, but like a niece to me. She was 23 years old. We were supposed to be going to her graduation from nursing school, and had to plan a funeral. Um, So I just say, don't take these things lightly. If a woman is in this situation or is listening, your life is too important to give somebody a second chance to that end up being your last chance, or end up being the last chance for someone that you love. So that's all I have to say. And I understand her anger, because even though in my situation the man is no longer alive, who, like, the hurt is still there. You still want to blame someone. You're still angry, because it just changes your life, changes your day-to-day life. That's all.
And you know what? I honestly think, y'all, a lot of times when victims or survivors isolate family out, and I'm not saying, because abusers do it also, they'll isolate the victim from their families. But I think that the victims, when they do it, is because they know the severity of the situation, and it's also to avoid their family members getting involved and getting hurt. And a lot of times they don't think about that also, because you have a lot of victims that will literally involve their family members, brothers, cousins, uncles, daddies, whatever, into those situations, knowing they're not ready to leave that situation. You have to be very mindful, because that is dangerous situations, and in the blink of an eye, you can lose somebody very near and dear due to irresponsible behavior, and being with a person. And this is why, one of the things I can say, y'all, about my situation is, I didn't tell my family until I was ready to leave. That's when I told them, because I knew the severity of the situation, and I knew that involving them, knowing I wasn't ready to depart from that situation emotionally and mentally, it wasn't going to be no good. So you have to be very mindful, because it's a lot. Shout out to Chrissy, shout out to Chad for telling these stories, because those stories are very important, where it could be an innocent bystander who is just looking out for your better interest, or involving themselves into your situation, and they end up losing their lives behind it. It's really unfortunate. And then God forbid the person still be with that person after the fact.
Right.
That's what makes it even crazier, because a lot of times that person will literally stay with the abuser. even after somebody then lost their lives trying to protect them from it. It's a lot of layers to domestic violence, y'all. A whole lot of layers. This is a very sensitive topic, but I feel that the awareness definitely needs to be spoken on to help victims, people, women, men, because it's men and men go through it also that's trying to get out of these situations. This is crazy. Whew, Lord, y'all got me with chills up here. But I really, really praise you guys for your encouragement. I mean, for being courageous and being able to speak on your situation. I'm so grateful for y'all. I will forever be praying for all of you guys because I know it's a lot of victims slash survivors that's in the chat. Also, it's tough, but put yourself first. A lot of times when you're in these type of situations, it's due to low self-esteem, it's due to childhood trauma, not having somebody around that can not having that father figure that teaches you what you deserve from a man, that also attributes to the childhood trauma as well. Just try to put yourself first. It takes a lot, it takes a lot mentally, but for me, I use my kids. I use my kids. If you can't use nobody else, use your babies. Just like they use you, for their benefit as their mom, use them as your motivation to get out of a situation that means you no good because they need you. They need you. If they don't have you, ain't nobody gonna take care of them babies like you will. Ain't nobody gonna look out for your babies like you will. Especially if it's their dad. You have to sometimes you have to put your kids before him also, especially if he ain't your husband, baby. Because if he means you no good and mean those kids no good, remove yourself from that situation. Because that child, I mean not child, Lord have mercy. That trauma also passes over to your kids a lot of times, and this is I feel like the older generation mindset where the moms and grandmas would stay in an abusive situation thinking that I don't want a broken home. I spoke on this the other day, and that's not always the best thing to do because you might be avoiding a broken home, but you're setting those kids up for a lot of trauma later on in life. And the next thing you know, they're in therapy speaking about how you affected their life in such a negative way, and it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. But if anybody up here, has any closing words, we've been on here a little over 2 hours, y'all. If y'all want to say anything to close us out, if y'all want to let the audience know where they can follow you guys, you can do so now so we can, enjoy the rest of our Sunday.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Pop, I want to thank you for holding this live. It's a very positive live. And ladies, I hope y'all listen to the survivors. If it's anybody that rode through this chat that's going through this right now, you do have help. You do have options. Don't be a statistic. Also, to the women who spoke, you guys are very brave. Thank you for sharing your story. And um, I was just happy to be here to listen to all of the. Some of them weren't happy endings, some of them were. But y'all just, if you got this going on, handle it. Don't become a statistic. Don't become, get your friends hurt. That last story, that was terrible. But I see that happening a lot too. Sometimes it's not even you that is dating the abuser. You just a cousin or a friend or somebody that just wants to have their back. Or you could just be around when they get into it like that and you are like, just the extra in their story and it doesn't always end well. But Pac, this was a good topic to touch on. And thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you for joining us. I love doing stuff like this. This is literally why I even got into the whole saga situation because I've been through it. So is near and dear. You know what I'm saying? So I love doing lives like this. I love being able to speak. I love being able to inspire. So I'm definitely gonna be doing more, more lives where it's giving women empowerment and reach one, teach one, baby. So this
Right.
is this is what I love to do.
You did a great job.
I know Chrissy was having problems with StreamYard. That's why I keep kicking her out. I don't know what y'all StreamYard, who they need to get it together. They so expensive, but the stream is so off. It's crazy. I should have literally I didn't know how to set up the different cameras on my other software. That's why I didn't go live from the other one, y'all. But Miss Sharon or Lakeisha, do y'all have any last words y'all would like to say before we get off the live?
Yes, I would first of all I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up and share my story. It have just empowered me to continue to tell my story, and I hope that everybody that have experienced or going through it and have listened to the story, I hope it inspire you one day to actually come out and tell your story. And I promise you, once you tell your story, you will feel a whole lot better. And just always remember that it's not your fault. And when you think you're going through something, there always somebody out there that going through a situation worse than you. And just continue to reach out to others that you know are going through it or that are experiencing DV, because it is real, and women or men go through it every day. And just thanks for giving me the opportunity. And I'm going to continue to share my story. If you guys want to follow me, I'm Sharon Anderson on Facebook. I will be continuing to tell my story. And I hope that one day I can encourage some of you other women that down in the chat, encourage you guys to come out and tell your story one day. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Sharon. I appreciate you coming up and being so courageous, my girl.
You're welcome.
Miss Lakeisha. I don't know if she's still on here, if she can hear, because I know she was having sound issues also. Are you still on here? Okay, it might have kicked her out, y'all. But I'm going to end it. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in, y'all. I love you guys. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Please hit that like button on y'all
Yes,
way
ma'am.
out. Huh? Who is speaking?
Can you hear me?
That's you,
Yeah, can you
Lakeisha?
hear me?
Okay, okay, go ahead. You have anything you
Okay.
want to say before we head out?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening to me, my story. If anybody wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Facebook. And I'm here. I'm listening. I'll help you find resources and everything that you need. I'm willing to help. So, um, you know, I love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming up and being brave enough to tell your story. I really appreciate you guys.
Yes,
But we gonna end it, you guys. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. I love y'all and I'ma see y'all tomorrow. Bye y'all.